Leslie here again, and today I'm going to show you how to make a little garden. Now I'm going to call mine a little fairy or pixie garden because that's what I like to believe lives in our hedge outside, and they're going to come and inhabit my little garden. There's a few things that you're going to need for this today. I'm quite excited about doing this. So you're going to need something to actually grow or make your fairy garden in. So I've got a wooden tray here that I've lined with a piece of plastic, because you're going to be growing plants in your fairy garden. You can also use something else like a little mini bucket, or there's like a fruit tray, old sweetie tubs. If you're going to do this next one using a plate, but please ask if you can use the plate or bowl. We don't want to be getting wrong because all the plates have suddenly mysteriously disappeared out of the cupboard when you need to eat your tea later. You're going to need some compost, which I've already got in my little tray. You'll need your watering can. I've made mine out of a little soap dispenser with a pop bottle on the top with some holes in. That waters really well. Maybe some little plants if you've got some. So I've got some French marigolds, I've got a little money tree, got some little tiny basil seedlings, and I've also got some sempervivums, which are outdoor plants, or they often call them hens and chicks. Got some things to decorate with, so I've got some little flowers that I'm going to stick on. I've made a little toadstool out of a cork. Some nice little glittery stones. Ooh, dropped one. Pick that up later. Maybe a little pot to make a pond with. I've also got some stones to make a pathway. You could use some twigs to make a little bridge or a gate or something like that. I'm actually going to use the pot to make a house with. And then I've got some pens, my trusty pens, so I can decorate the house afterwards. Maybe some glue if you want to stick some bits of paper on, or some sequins or glitter, or anything that you think would make your place look really nice. You could even make it into a dinosaur garden and put a couple of your toys in or something like that. I'm going to see if I can find some fairies once I put this outside and wait really quietly to see if they come and take up home. So with your tray or whatever you've got that you're going to make your fairy garden in, you're going to fill it just over 1/2 to 3/4 full, and then gently firm it down. You don't want to push too hard, because if not, that means that the water will run off the top. There won't be any gaps in the compost for your flowers or your seeds to be able to take root in. Now, if you're one of the lucky ones that got the accessories pack from Wales Carnival Crew, then you're going to have your grass seed as well, the other half of your grass seed from making the grass head on Saturday. And in your accessories pack, you'll have one that says flower seeds for fairy or boggle garden. Now, in there it looks like there's just a load of sand. Well, they actually had to mix it with sand because some of the flower seeds that are in there are so tiny you can't actually see them. So that's what they call a carrying agent. So they mix it with something that's bigger so that you don't lose the seeds in transport. So anyway, let's have a look. So you've got the sand in there, you've got some bigger seeds, and then there's the little black seeds there as well, and then you might just be able to see some really tiny specks in there that are flower seeds as well. You might need to get, if I put my thumb there, there's a little tiny one just there, like dust. So I'm going to start laying mine out. I'm going to pop some marigolds in the back. So just make a little hole and plant that one in. I thought these would look quite nice as trees. They're going to have a big orangey yellow flower on the top when they do flower. I might pop one in that corner there as well, like that. And then I think with the stones, I think I'm going to put my little house in this corner. So I'm going to sprinkle the stones in the pathway towards the house. And that'll still fit in there quite nicely. I've got my little stone pathway. Take the glittery ones out. Now this one is what I'm going to use as a pond. So I'm going to just pull some compost back and pop that in the corner there. And I think the little money tree I'll pop beside the pond in the corner. I thought I quite liked using basil because it smells nice too, and you'll be able to pick it. You can make, maybe if you've been growing some tomatoes, you'll be able to make some tomato and basil soup. So I'm going to pop one between the marigolds at the back and another one beside the pond. Just in there. And then the sempervivums, or hens and chicks. Now I call them hens and chicks because you have a big one and that will send other ones out the side, so it's a bit like a mother hen having all her little babies all sat all the way round her, popping out the sides. And this one has got roots coming off it as well, so that's really, really good. These three came off a bigger one, so I'm going to pop them in beside the pond. Now they're an alpine, so alpines actually like to live on the side of mountains, and a lot of people get confused thinking that they like really dry conditions, but what they really like is free draining soil, which mountains often have, but they like a lot of moisture, because when you've been doing your rain cycles or your water cycles at school, you'll know that when a cloud forms, it forms over top of the mountain, all the rain comes down, all the water comes all the way down the side of the mountain into the valleys, and then the valleys take the river on a journey all the way out to sea. So the alpines all live on the top and down the sides of the mountains, so they like a lot of water, but they don't like to be sat in water, which is really good because all the other plants that I've got here are very similar. So the marigolds like water, but they don't like to be sat in water, and the same with the basil. So they like water, and again don't like to be sat in loads of water. They like to be wet but free draining. So that's quite nice. So on my pot, I'm going to draw a house and put a door on the front. How are your grass seed heads going, guys? Mine hasn't sprouted yet. I keep watering it each day, but my bean has started shooting its root out. I'm so chuffed. Only in a couple of days as well. It's been sat there in a really, really warm spot, and we've got a bit of condensation on the window. I'll show you a close up in a little while. So there's a door. And I'm going to pop a window on this side. I really like the idea of having a round house. I really like The Hobbit. I really like the idea of having an underground house. I think that would be really cool. have your garden on the roof. And a big round door. Some people think I might be a hobbit because I'm only 5 foot. And I have to have second breakfast as well as a first breakfast, and then a lunch, and then an afternoon snack, then a snack for later afternoon, and then I have my tea as well. And then there might be something before I go to bed. So yeah, I think I might be a hobbit. If you could live in any other fantasy land, which one would you live in? So these 3 little fake flowers that I've got, which are going to look quite similar to what the marigolds are going to be. I'm going to glue them on the top of my pot to make the top of the house look pretty. One, two, three. There's my house with a window and the nice daisies on the top. And just wiggle that into the compost. And I've got the cork that I made into a bit of a toadstool. So I'm going to pop that to the side of the house. And then these lovely golden stones, I'm going to just decorate the back of the fairy garden with just in there, like that. Now I'm going to take my grass seed, so you can have a bit of a lawn, and sprinkle that on. In there. Oh, I'm so excited to see if the fairies come and take up home in my fairy garden, or maybe even the pixies. I quite like pixies too. Like that. And then the flower seeds I'm going to sprinkle on this side. So there's a little trick with flower seeds. If you don't want them all to come out at once, pop them in your hand, right in the centre of your hand, like that. If you look closely, you can see the little tiny brown specks now. And then if you crunch your hand up slightly, you've got this crease here. Now that crease is really good for sowing seeds. And you can either wiggle your hand like this, so the seeds come out really gently. Let's see if I can do this a bit closer so you can see. So you can wiggle like that, so the seeds come out. Or you can just tap gently, and they will all wiggle out along that crease in your hand. If you've got slightly damp hands like I have, because I've been touching the water, they might stick. So you might just need to give them a little bit of a helping hand. There we go. So that's my fairy garden to start with. Now what do seeds need, guys? So they need warmth, they need a little bit of water and something to grow in. So far we've got the warmth and we've got something to grow in. So must be the water then. So I'm going to take my little, sorry, it's my guinea pigs being noisy again. One wanted to use the toilet. So I'll take my little watering can and I'm just going to water in the grass seed, water in the marigold, water in the other marigold, my little money plant and the basil plants, and then all the little seeds that you've just popped in, and my little hens and chicks. And I'm going to take the lid off and I'm going to fill my pond up. And there we have it. bit of a mess tonight. I've got water and compost and bits of grit all over this table and all over my hands. But that is my fairy garden. I'm going to go and pop that outside and wait to see what happens. That's been my favourite make so far. What's your favourite make been? I'd really like to see what you've been creating. And yeah, happy National Children's Gardening Week. So, last things last, clearing up, washing our hands and keep smiling.